A very warm welcome to all PMC English viewers. I am your host for the show New Age Family, and today, for this episode, I have two beautiful souls amongst us, Balraj Kapoor ji and Riju Kapoor ji. They both have such a beautiful energy that they bring with themselves that I have less of words to describe them. So, without further ado, I'll call them up on stage and ask them to introduce themselves with their own voice. A very warm welcome, Vilaji and Rijuji. Please,
Namaskar. Thank you
Namaste.
so very much, Nandini. First of all, let me compliment you. I've always told you this, but I've never expressed to you in person that, I've always felt that you are such a charming, beautiful, you are the PSSM's Barbie doll. That's the way I describe you. So aaj se I'm going to, give you a new name from today, the PSSM's Barbie doll. Because to me, you're the most sweetest, cutest, and the most charming person I've ever come across on the screen. So thank you very much for inviting us today on this wonderful Buddha Purnima day and inviting two Buddhus.
Yes.
दो बुद्धों को बुलाकर on a Buddha Purnima day, you have kind of, invited trouble for all of us, I think. So,
I don't know. Thank you, Nandini. As my husband said, exactly. You are very charming, very pretty, and I'm going to call you Barbie doll now. Thank you for inviting us. My name is Riju, and I live in London. By profession, I'm a teacher, and living in London almost 17 years.
17 years.
17
yes,
years we are
yes.
living here.
We've lived abroad for the last 20, since 84.
So my husband took Vanvas. He was 14 years there. So yes.
Where?
And as in Middle East.
Middle East.
And we moved.
So we've lived in Bahrain, we've lived in Dubai, and we came in 2005 to UK, essentially for our children's education. And we are the proud fathers of a very, academically and spiritually wonderful son who's a lawyer by profession. And my daughter is into digital marketing and she's done a business management. And both of them are, working in the outer world and but also spiritually, well grounded, I would say.
Yes, both my children.
And the entire credit of bringing the upbringing of my children, I would always give it to, the lady sitting across me, who actually we got married about 28 years ago. And this has been the most wonderful journey of me as a person, I would say, of having met this wonderful soul, who after coming into meditation, I realized that we chose each other. Really? Actually, yes. My God, I don't believe this. We chose each other. We keep fighting every moment, every day, every second. We are the biggest critics of each other. Can you believe it, Nandini? We are the biggest critics of each other,
yes,
but also the biggest and the most strongest motivators for each other, the most inspirational persons for each other. Because I think in a marriage, it is very important to understand each other. Marriage is not about, it's about, one is above, the other one is below. Marriage is all about being in par with each other and supporting each other through, through every turbulences of your life, encouraging each other. And that's what the new age couple should understand, that we are in this journey together.
Wow. And, I just wanted to add a little bit when he said ours is arranged marriage. And I always watch, grew up watching Bollywood movies and always thinking life is all about, romance is all about running around the trees and singing songs. But unfortunately, my husband was a tough rock. I used to that time call it, now I call him Ram, but that time he was Ravana. Very strict husband. Like, you come out from the hell and come into the different master. He was a very jovial, but when it comes to life skills, and maybe, I was in cocoon with my parents. I was very, they gave me safeguarded shelf. When I export, from Amritsar to Bahrain, it's a long journey. First time I sat in the plane, I didn't know how to put the even belt on. how to go and approach a person. I need a window seat. So from there, and I was not an English speaker person. And from there, I
Today,
am teaching British people. So credit goes to him because and I never gave up. He backlashed many times, many times. Life was wonderful, roller coaster, not very smooth. We lived from each other quite a long time separate. For like, as we got married, after 1 year, I joined him. And I think that time he gave me the reassurance. Love is not, yes, we are united together, but it's the family reunion. And how we bring that together. I spread happiness in Balraj's family, and he supports my parents who are in Amritsar. You know, the parents, they are very hesitant. How come this happened? My daughter got married, and immediately son has gone to, the son-in-law, he's in Bahrain, and my daughter is there. What is going to happen? But we assured each and every one family member, uh, and he motivate me to work hard in life, come out of my shell. And first thing I remember, when we got married, he told me, I don't want to see you. If something happened to me, I don't want to, dependent on people. I just, stepped into his house. That was his first statement. I don't want to see you as widow, and working for other people and crying and all. Want to see you independent. That time I was thinking how rude this person is. Because in Bollywood, I've seen good people, soft hearted looking. And his first day, I just entered, I just throw the towel, rice, and he's telling me widow. I was very upset, but I didn't tell because that time I was a silent. Because no, now I understood why I was silent for so many months, because it gives me power to shout at one point. I was absorbing that energy. So that energy helped me. Yeah.
Wow.
And now we are here together.
Wow. I mean, for today's interview, I can assure one thing. I cannot, first, I'll not be able to stop smiling because I have you two across the screen for the interview. And this interview is gonna have such a flow because you two have so much to offer to us, your knowledge, your experiences, and and you two people are people of words. So I mean, as a host, I'll be a very silent person today, and you two will be taking over the interview, and I'm more than happy for that. And how beautifully you two mention about your journey that it began, and the beginning of as two individuals come together, and especially changing cultures, changing countries can be very difficult, and living alone apart from your families. And how you just mentioned, I related to completely, like how especially women, girls are really taken care of, pampered, because parents believe they're gonna go one day, so give them all the love. But how you managed with the man who had his own morals and all of that. So we'll come to that. We'll ask Balaji, do you find any change in yourself, as as Rijuji was mentioning, he was very strict, and now she finds you, a motivator, a pillar in her life. So how has that changed, how that the wording of as a strict partner changed to a motivator? What happened?
so I think, here we need to understand this in the bigger picture, Nandini. And the bigger picture is not only about Balraj Kapoor, it's about every man. It's about every human person who's a male member. Because uske upar, he has got so many responsibilities. The person is actually stuck up with so much of commitments in life, so much of pressures that he has to go through in life, so much of, uh, of things that he needs to achieve, not only for yourself, but for your, for your family, so he's under constant pressure. And that pressure actually drives a person, he loses his identity, वो दब जाता है. The person is always under suppression. He feels suffocated. So I, as an individual, I've been in the hospitality world for 35 years of my life. I've worked in hotels and restaurants, in very big catering operations, handling almost 3,000 people, and service and hospitality. I've been very passionate about. It's been in my blood, and I always tell this to my staff that this is the most wonderful and a noble profession that we are doing in this outer world, because we are serving humans. We are serving people, and that is to be done with a lot of passion and care. So, long story short, 35 years in the business, but I was very, very stressed, very negative, always full of anger. And that anger was because of, that subdued, person within me. The little child in me was lost. Under, he was lost within himself. And in 2020, we were blessed. During this COVID time, people thought, this COVID has been the most. It's been such a turbulent time in people's life. It's been, I would say this lockdown was so scary for people. But I think this lockdown was not a lockdown. It was an opening for us to go within ourselves to rediscover ourselves. And that's what we did as couple. We always believed in doing things together. So even meditation, we started doing together, thanks to our wonderful niece, Charu Tapial. And, she was the one who actually made us, come in contact with Rose in a Zorba session, and we got introduced to her, and we started doing meditation. And during meditation is something, as I said, which changed my life, changed my outlook towards life, and which I'm very proud about. Prior to coming into meditation, I used to be very, very staunch supporter of horoscopes, and these beliefs of looking into the horoscopes every day and trying to know what's going on in my life. And some astrologer had told me that you're going to win a lottery in 2020. And you will not believe this, Nandini. Both of us won a lottery. We won a lottery on the 1st June of 2020, the biggest lottery of our life, the biggest lottery that has actually gave us so much of abundance of happiness and bliss, and that lottery is called meditation. So it has really changed us into a different individual. 360 degrees, complete change. And now we both, every moment of our life, we thank every person whom we met during these meditation sessions. We thank our beloved friend, we call him, Patriji, for bringing this meditation to not only to us, but to millions and millions of people all over the globe. Yes. So there are no words to express our gratitude to this wonderful PSSM family.
Wow. And addition of you two has only empowered this family. What a wonderful experience you just shared. And I believe this sharing will really motivate all the men out there, because I believe I've experienced myself, men in my life. What I've observed, they express little lesser than what women are able to express. So you just spoke for a lot of men out there. So I truly think all the audience that are watching this, today's journey is gonna really help you understand how can you start becoming, we know Balraji as a person who brings an energy of joy, and he's talking about being under stress, losing his connection with inner child. So let us know their journey more and know that how can we get connected back to our inner child, and how can we can bring our expression in life with more full of life and happiness. How can we do that? So coming back to Rijuji, what are the key points that you would like to share as a woman for all the women out there in a relationship?
One thing before I start, I want to give credit to my parents, because they were very honest, very transparent, very authentic. And I do not have luxuries to grow up in a very big house where individuals have rooms and everything. So I got married at 22, and 22 years of my life I spent in one room that was living room, dining room, everything. Okay. But best part, no regrets in life. I got married and Balraj has a flat. So no comment. He was superior to me or I was inferior. I was living in a very vast building with my uncles and aunts. So I have seen the transparency. Yes, turbulence come, but how do you smile? I have seen my parents seeing tough time in their lives. Really tough time means they couldn't afford our education also. Even when my mother was sick at that point, we do not have proper medication to give her. But she was smiling, my dad was smiling. They never said we are poor people. This poor definition, by the way, I understood when I came to London. Even in Bahrain, I'd never that this should be. I was always thinking we are the top of the world, we are the queens, we are everything. Never ever thought about it. So yes, that determination and strong will I learned there. But the practical comes when you start. You are on the front line, you are the boss, you are the commander of that. You need to take that. Your husband is taking the full, you are taking the lead from his family. Now you are part of it. So when I joined, yes, no problem. I remember there are, sometimes you come, you feel lone or something, and I see a bird. I don't know. You must have, India, when you see one for sorrow, two for joy, three for love, and all. I always say one for success. You learn, you come alone, you will learn. And I changed my mentality. I'm a very positive person. But again, as I said, that pain was there. Yes, I'm laughing all the time. I'm facing all the challenges. But how in, first time, when you control your mind yourself, yes, you can do this, you can do this, and then when you are in your control, you can pass that aura, the current, the energy is so high, you can pass on to your partner also. Yes, he was very aggressive or very, but rather, chubbing my words or my emotions, I started sharing with him. I feel this way. I need this in my life. So what is transparency? Transparency is I need to be, what would he? He will say no, or he will shout, I have the capacity to take on. So that capacity I take on, or in fact, when the children born, I studied. I asked him. I said, I never, sit alone. You are going to work. I am in Bahrain, and I need to do something. So I said, I cannot speak proper English. He said, what do you want? I said, could you please? I found this place. Can you please find out? So I started going to British Council. Not at all shy. What people are going to talk about me. And when I went there, I thought I studied in English. Just speaking is the barrier. So now, when I teach children, I understand communication is language is not the barrier. Communication, because with gestures or anything, we can come. If I start spreading that love, then slowly, I started developing that confidence in me. Earlier, I was thinking degrees makes a lot of impact on people. When people are educated, then slowly my concept has changed. Character building is very important. Once character, if a person character is not good, there is no point of having gold medals or everything. And I have enough of those gold medals and everything. So I started putting in my children, and I really respect Balraj for that. Whatever I was taking the decisions for the children, we were both on the same page. And when we have, as I said, he has fears of like losing jobs. He was the one bread earner for the family, and so many people depend on him. And I understand, being a wife, what he's going through. But I always smile. I never, complained. I've never cribbed on these things. So on, and because of his, when he lost his job many a times, that I think that time you feel bad, but that is the best point in my life, because I came out of, started working, and we were together. We were on same page. I started learning that what happens when you face outside abroad people. You are not dependent. I need to solve my problems myself. And he started compassionate towards me, because I was doing the same work what he was doing. And we then the children, they saw all those things. And here it's a very important message. I never was a crybaby in front of my children, because children were young. Yes, we never learned these things, hide these things. When he shout or I shout at front of the children, I tell very important, please do not come in between me and your father. And when Balraj is talking to the children, I do not come, because that is his now meeting. with children. When I have my meeting with children, do not to come together. And
I
when we
think
were talking together,
as a family, it's very important, Riju, that we all are in
yes,
unison in our
yes,
thoughts, in our actions, in our whatever we do, as a family. So as a family, we are always very
very
strong.
strong,
That's
very
what.
strong. And then with the children, we need to make any decisions or anything. We used to proper like meetings. Not I'm doing, kitchen, I'm doing something, cooking and talking to the children. Sit on the table, talking to them, taking them, giving them importance, and that gives us balance in life. We took them for spirituality. My children, they grew up in Balvika's classes, Satya Sai Baba organization. Balraj, wherever we said, Balraj was there. Whether it's a 5 minutes, whether it's a 10 minutes. So I always believe the quality of time, what he had given to all of us, that nurtured me. And I came out of my shell. Slowly, slowly, I become independent. And here I'm talking to you.
Today, it makes me feel so proud that this is Riju Kapoor coming from a small city like Amritsar, probably not confident of herself. Today, thanks to her education, she's teaching English to English people in an English country. Now, that is something, an achievement for every woman to be proud of. And I think what I'm trying to basically come across is that, it's always a belief, it's a belief within yourself that you can't do something. But you need to overcome that self-belief. You need to have that confidence within yourself that nothing in this world is impossible. Even in the word impossible, they say I'm possible, right? So there's nothing called impossible in this world. You can achieve anything through your mind, through your manifestation, through your positive way of looking at life. I was the most negative person you could ever come across in your life. I was the most negative person.
I will tell you, Nandini, when we were having the wedding fairas, we'll go around. We are North Indian weddings. And I said, why were you sad? He said, I was upset. What would if you run away with somebody else? I thought, oh my God, how could you think about this is our wedding and I will run away with somebody? He was so negative. What would happen if the plane crashed? What would happen? I said, please stop this. What would? Just go with the flow.
I'll just summarize the messages that you just gave to us. So the key point is, in every relationship, communication is the most important key point, is what you just taught us. And giving importance, not taking anybody as lightly, giving each member of your family importance is really important. Not seeing kids as kids, knowing that they're individual and they bring their own knowledge and wisdom, and take just like how you just mentioned that you do not just take decisions by just you are very mindful when you take decisions. You're mindful as a family. So that's wonderful. And that brings me to my next question. How is your experience, and what would you say about your being, now that you have seen yourself, now that you are meditating together and experiencing growing in your spiritual journey, how do you see yourself as before, as a couple or individual, and after, when you got introduced to meditation? What is the major change that you could talk about in your life as a couple or as an individual? So yes, we can start with Balraj.
Okay, so as I said, Nandini, to you, we've been married, happily married, I would say, for 28 years of our life.
Don't look at me. We are happily married. Yes.
Happily married for 28 years of our life. And during these 28 years, I would say the last 2 years, are something which I want to talk about. So 26 years we are happily married, but the last 2 years, I don't know. I want you to experience this as a couple, and I would seriously urge all the men, if they are not meditating, to meditate and realize what I'm talking about. The same person is going to be the most charming person of your life. The same person with whom you have spent your day in and day out, you suddenly, every moment, today, believe me, Nandini, if there's not a second in my life, and I'm not lying this on, on this Zoom session, every second of my life, I bow down in gratitude to her for being with me, for being, for tolerating me as an individual, for, the kind of whims and, the tantrums that I used to throw. And I'm also conscious about the way so, as a couple, we keep fighting every time. Please don't think that we never fight. And after coming into meditation, we don't fight. No, we fight a lot. We criticize each other a lot. But after coming into meditation, both of us have become the biggest supporters and motivators for each other. We are the strength of each other. We don't think of us as two bodies. We think of us as one soul. We are one. And that is what you need to understand in this new age couple fiasco, that we all are moving in this together. Hum saath saath hai.
And I think, giving him space and accept the people they are, he has sudden moments up and down. I have, so I respect whatever he's doing. Okay, I'll take on. You just, rather keeping in, just take it out. And we become more friends since we came into, and acceptance. The best part is, since we sometimes we press even our mobile phone. He said, I was pressing your phone. I was thinking the same. I was doing the same. In coincidence, certain things I think it is already there. With this happened after meditation. He started thinking, oh, we were even the thinking. We heard about, at certain stage, husband and wife, they become like brother and sister. But believe me, this is happening. We can see these things are happening.
Whatever I'm thinking, she's already thinking that. Whatever I want to, say, suppose we want to go and buy something, she's also thinking about the same thing. So, it's like your thoughts are matching with each other. Your everything is matching with each other.
But we give space. I'm not telling we become suddenly Paramatma and God or anything. No. We fight. We have some tantrum moments also. We respect. Yeah.
That's very wonderfully you mentioned that coming into meditation doesn't mean that anger doesn't come to an individual or fight doesn't happen. We are two. Yes, we are one, but we are two different minds as well. So difference of opinions will always be there. But how wonderfully you just shared that what difference that you have observed after meditation is that those fights have become your utmost motivation, or the link to come together more strongly, because now I can vouch for this for all the couples out there fighting, which before meditation, the fights that we see as the end of our relationship, after meditation those fights can really bring major changes in your own selves. Everything happens for a reason, and the partner is the best mirror that you can get in a relationship. And
after coming into meditation, Nandini, I think that we divorce each other every day, but we also marry each other every day. हम रोज शादी करते हैं यार. We marry each other every day, and that is more important to understand. It's very easy to think about the word called divorce. The moment you think about the word divorce, what happens? You suddenly become very conscious about things in your life. But the moment you talk about marriage, I only talk about marriage. In marriage, every moment, we are marrying each other. So, these are turbulences we all have to go through.
And I think when you're talking about, Nandini, this today's world, divorce is very common because, I think we do not give room to everyone, and we do not communicate. We are not transparent. We are scared. What is going to happen? And I can, vouch for this communication, very important. When my first child born, Balraj was in Moscow and I was living with my in-laws. And I didn't know that delivery is so complicated to become a mother. And it was I got into the postnatal depression and lots of stitches, unable to walk, independent, and it really took me how I'm going to look after my son. And my mother one day said, I was crying, and she said, you become a mother now. You need to understand, learn to be vocal. If you do not like something, you need to say something. And that was the turning point in my life, because the people around me, if they're telling me something, I do not know how to carry the baby, I do not know something, I was taking everything on me. That is true. We do not bring our babies from our homes, right? So this means I need to express my feeling rather harsh on myself. I started communicated with my mother-in-laws, my in-laws, and that turning, that confidence giving, my relationship become more stronger with everyone around me. I came out within 15 days. I came out from a depression. And same thing, now people, when you talk about young couples, we do not accept. If we give room to everyone to develop, if Balraj wants to go out with his friend, yes, he needs to go out, but he needs to understand same time how to balance. If I shouting, crying, do you think he's a human being? I cannot put, collar around him in his neck, though he said call himself that he's a two-legged dog, but I can't do that. I cannot do that. He needs his space and I need my space. So when we started giving this space to each other, this all depend when you are open up, when your knowledge expands, when you meet people, that you are not only suffering, talk to people, others are also suffering. Rather, taking the relationship apart. Simple example, when we bring pet, how, nurture with them. The pet do not talk, but we nurture. So two human beings, they grow up in different environment, they have more emotions. How can they be same? We
Correct.
need to make that together. We need time, and take the time. And just
Patience.
my patience.
Patience.
Then everything will be hunky dory, fine. Yes.
Wow, you made it all easy, it just seems easy with you two talking about relationships and everything. Wow, wonderful.